Hello, and welcome back to Dan's Card Corner. Been a little while since I've done one of these, but well, we're back with 2 packs of ZAP PAX. So these are obviously video game cards. I'm actually not too familiar with this set. I believe they are third-party games from kind of the late era of the NES. I don't think it's Nintendo exclusive, so there probably are like Sega Genesis cards, and let's see the year on these. 1992. So yeah, there could be some Super Nintendo in there as well. We'll find out, obviously, what the exact mix is. But anyway, just taking a look at the wrappers. ZAP PAX with an X, Premier Edition. As far as I'm aware, there were not any other editions, unfortunately. Awesome pro tips on every card to help you win. Collect all your favorite video game characters. So I think, from what I've seen, I think they are kind of, each card is a character more so than like a game cover or anything. So I believe like each game does have multiple cards. There's also randomly packed holograms, so there is a chase. And here we have a very obscure NES game to pick for the cover, or the, the kind of header image on the wrapper. That is Metal Mech Man and Machine on NES, a Jalico game. Not a particularly good one either. It's not horrible, but yeah, not a memorable game. But you do drive what basically is just a giant Ed 209 from RoboCop, but you can get out of it, so it has a little bit of a Blaster Master thing. It's not nearly as good a game as Blaster Master, of course, but well, it exists anyway. Anyway, on the back, 8 cards per pack. For a free card checklist, send your name and address to Zippy Zapper. I think that's what I was called in college. Grand Prairie, Texas. These are 1992 cards distribution. Cards with a Z, because it's 1992, and we're getting into that era where everything is extreme, I guess. Anyway, yeah, let's pop these open and see what we get here. So, kind of classic chip bag style wrappers there, but open without too much difficulty. Alright, so the Pyrobot, which is an enemy from Shatterhand, that was actually a very underrated game. Also Jalico, actually. So perhaps there's a theme. I wonder if Jalico was behind these. Maybe not, but yeah, Shatterhand, very good game, actually. Underrated. I'll have to maybe... I've never finished it, so, I'll probably want to play through it on my own first, but maybe someday I'll do that on my Dan Plays My Game show. Anyway, on the back, ZAP Facts. There's the Jalico label. This flame-throwing friendly... Oh, not an enemy, actually. Yeah, that's right. This is kind of like the option guy that you can get to follow you, I guess, right? Yeah, so this flame-throwing friendly hovers overhead when the BBL... I'm guessing that didn't mean in 1992 what it stands for today. Anyway, when the BBL letter combination is collected. Yeah, I'm kind of... I haven't played Shatterhand in a long time. It is a good game, but yeah, you collect letters, and in different configurations, you get different little robots that follow you and do different effects. So that's what this guy is, anyway. Obtain the identical combination of letters a second time, and Shatterhand transforms into a highly powered, heavily armored fighting machine. Press the B button, then press and hold the B button again to light the fire of this allied satellite drone. The long flame will span ceilings and floors to destroy enemies hidden underneath. I'm skipping some of it there, but a lot of text. But yeah, good game. That being said, if I had a card of Shatterhand, I'd probably first want one of the cover art where it's, the main guy, like, punching through the logo with his metal hand, and, like, the skin is coming off his hand, so you see the metal underneath. Anyway, here we have Jack from Little Ninja Brothers. I think that was part of the same series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have Little Ninja Brothers, but I think it's the sequel to... Kung Fu Heroes, if I'm not mistaken. I think Kung Fu Heroes is itself actually the second game in the series. I believe the original was called Super Chinese, and it was a Japan-only release. I could be mistaken on all of this, but I know I know Kung Fu Heroes is Super Chinese, and I think it's actually Super Chinese 2. And again, I want to say Little Ninja Brothers is Super Chinese 3. Anyway, I won't go through all of the text, but if you want to pause and read about Jack, one of the two-player characters from Little Ninja Brothers, there you go. Here we have the Centipede from the unfortunately named SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team. I don't have that game either, actually. I think that one's fairly rare, if I'm not mistaken, at least the US version. In Japan, that one actually had a much better, less scatological title. It was Action in New York, which is, doesn't really roll off the tongue, I suppose, but, well, it's not scat, anyway. So the dreaded cybernetic centipede. Here's the excavation drone, also from scat. There we go. Here we have Quinn Hart. I think, is he the main player character in Vice Project Doom? That's actually a fairly rare game, too. I actually fairly recently, as in a few years ago, fairly recently did pick that one up. So I do have Vice Project Doom now. But that's a good one, too. And it kind of mixes up the gameplay. Like, it starts, I think the first level's like a driving, kind of spy hunter type stage. Then it goes into a side-scroller. So you have some variety in that one. So yeah, main guy in Vice Project Doom. Shadow of the Ninja. So far these are all NES games, incidentally, even though the cards are from '92, which was pretty late for the NES's life cycle. So yeah, I'm actually surprised we're not getting any, like, Genesis or Super Nintendo games. Shadow of the Ninja. I don't have, a lot of games I don't have here, surprisingly. Because I have a pretty big collection. I have, 500 some NES games, close to 600, I think. Well, probably not close. Over 500, anyway. Plus, like, 70-some Famicom games. Anyway, yeah, surprisingly, a lot of ones I don't have here. I guess if it's 92, that does kind of make sense, because you are getting into the late era, and a lot of the games in that era had smaller print runs, so they tend to be harder to find. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, Shadow of the Ninja, I don't have that one. Yeah, was that NES? Or was that, I think that was NES. What am I thinking of? Shadow Dancer, which was actually, I think that was a Shinobi game. I don't have that either, but that was on Genesis, but I think that's what I'm thinking of. Shadow of the Ninja, I believe, is NES. Anyway, we have Proton from Vice Project Doom. And then we have Jimmy Cutler Jr. from Flying Warriors. I do have that one. I never really got into it. I'll have to give that one another look. Anyway, we'll open up pack number 2 here. Kind of notable, incidentally, is that the artwork on these is, seems to be original artwork, or production artwork, but I think they're original to these cards, so that's kind of interesting. Anyway, well, here we go, the Blue Dinosaur from Adventure Island 2. Good game. I finally actually, a few years ago, finally completed the trilogy of that on NES. Although, I actually didn't, because there is actually a 4th Japan-only Adventure Island game that we never got here. But I'll have to track down the Famicom card for that. I think I've heard that one's more like a Metroidvania, almost, or I always kind of fight against that term. I prefer just Metroid style. But yeah, I think that's a little bit more of a Metroid-y type format than the previous Adventure Island games, from what I've heard. I'll have to look into getting that at some point. But yeah, good games, the Adventure Island games. Oh, totally rad. I actually played this one on Dan Plays, year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, look that up. I actually have a full playthrough. I went through and actually defeated Edigi, the final boss of Totally Rad, so check that out. Good game, too, kind of a Mega Man style. Also another Jalico game, incidentally. Public Enemy numero uno. I like they even kind of carried through the surfer lingo from the game itself and the manual on the card here for that game. Anyway, we have another character from Scat, which again, I'm not hugely familiar with since I don't have that one. And again, it is one of the more unfortunate video game titles. Another one from Scat. So we're loaded up with Scat here, incidentally. Curly from The Magic of Scheherazade, which is a sort of somewhat Zelda-style game. I haven't played too much of that one. I do have it. I'll have to go back to that one. There's a few like Zelda-type games on NES that I haven't played all the way through, and I should at some point. But Star Tropics and Star Tropics 2, case in point. But yeah, Magic of Scheherazade, that's an interesting one as I recall, so I'd like to look at that one again. Here we have the Aqua Knight from the Creon Conquest, which is probably the most blatant Mega Man knockoff game on the NES, but still pretty good one, very hard one. And I think that one's fairly rare. I've had that one for a long time. But yeah, Creon Conquest. And you play as like a girl witch, but she still weirdly looks kind of like Mega Man. They're her sprite. Yeah, anyway, Rat Rocket from Battletoads, which I've had for years and years and years, and I've never come even close to beating it. I've beaten Battletoads and Double Dragon, the Ultimate Team, but the original Battletoads, that one might be even a little bit above my pay grade still, after all these years. But yeah, anyway, the Rat Rocket from the one of the enemies from the infamous speeder level, the jet bike level, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the player one main character from Battletoads, Rash. Also one of the 3 selectable toads in Battletoads Double Dragon. Although I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's colored... The sprite they show here is colored tan, and that I think was player 2, which was actually Zitz in the game. So I think they might have screwed up here. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty fun. Some good game memories, and some games I still have to check out at some point. The ones I don't have, I mean, I could just load up on my Raspberry Pi, I guess, at some point to check them out that way. Yeah, fun stuff, and some games that are still worth seeking out. I would say these cards are maybe worth seeking out a few more packs of at some point too. And these are pretty fun. As far as the picks, I mean, we didn't hit any of the holograms or anything, so we didn't get any of the actual chase cards. But I mean, the main player character in Battletoads, that's a big one. For me personally, the final boss of Totally Rad, which is a game I do quite like. We'll put that one as a pick. And, I mean, like, we got a bunch of Shatterhand cards, which is a great game, but not, like, any main characters or anything. I don't know. I guess the Blue Dino from Adventure Island, too. So, yeah, anyway. Fun cards. Fun pack. I'll have to look for some more of these. And I'll have to, see if there's a checklist and see if there's any of these that I really want, because I can't imagine these are, especially valuable or expensive or anything. But, yeah, anyway, that's ZAP PAX with an X from 1992. All NES games, incidentally, which again is kind of interesting for that late in the NES's lifespan. But anyway, that's what I have. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you again at some point soon for more Dan's Card Corner, and probably something else before then. So, we'll see you. Have a good one.